Welcome, Horse Racing Nation fans, to our Insider video series in which we bring you the critical information you need to know to save time and cash more tickets at the racetrack. Hi, my name is Mike Shuddy, co-founder of Horse Racing Nation, and I am just counting down the days until that Del Mar meet opener. I absolutely love this meet. Now, don't get me wrong, they put on a sensational meet at Saratoga. Great quality, super connections, but I believe that the money that makes its way into the wagering pools at Del Mar is less informed and therefore creates a lot more value throughout the meet. And I gotta tell you, those Pick 6 carryovers, they have at least a couple of $1 million carryovers every meet to take advantage of. I've been playing and attending the races at Del Mar for the past 16 years, and I've learned a lot. This is a very, very tough meet. So, let's get started by sharing with you some very powerful handicapping tips that I've learned, as well as some very hot key angles. And we're going to all have a profitable meet this year at Del Mar. Let's begin first by taking a look at some of the juicy nuggets we've learned about the Del Mar synthetic and turf courses. 3 years ago, Del Mar converted their dirt surface to polytrack. Now, some trainers applauded that move, while others who had horses that preferred a much harder dirt surface did not. But overall, it's been a success. But it has changed the composition of winning running styles at the meet. For example, the running style of winners going the 5.5 to 6.5 furlong distance are evenly split among wire-to-wire, stalker, and closer types. Now that's a big change from the dirt surface, which was predominantly a speed stalker surface. At the 7 furlongs and the mile and 1/16 distances, it's very tough to wire the field. In fact, nearly 85% of the winners at those distances are stalkers and closers. With the exception of the 5.5 furlong distance, the outside posts here pose no problem, especially for horses going 6 to 7 furlongs. In fact, they're preferred because of that quirky configuration of the turns, and then you have that slope in that track. And you ask any rider who's here, the worst spot is not to be on the outside, but it's to be behind a horse on the inside as they come out of that far turn. Why? Because horses coming in from the outside, they actually make a harder left turn than at any other track coming into the stretch. And therefore, they kind of compress the rest of the field toward the rail. So if you're bottled up and stuck behind a horse on that rail coming to that turn, it's very, very difficult to find a hole and break yourself loose. Just watch a few replays, head-on replays, and see the phenomenon for yourself. So, post position at the polytrack surface really isn't a big factor. One exception may be the 11 and 12 posts for the 5.5 furlong distance, but honestly there just aren't enough observations to make a solid conclusion here. So, let's get to the good stuff. Let's take a look at some of the big hot angles here that really going to make a difference in your wagering this year. Here's hot angle number 1. My friend Mac in Encinitas is a brilliant handicapper. He made the observation that the polytrack surface at Del Mar plays different on sunny hot days than it does on overcast, damper, and cooler days. Sure enough, on those hot days, wire and close stalker types dominate the winner's circle. On cool overcast days, mid-pack and closer types, they take the center stage. So, check out the weather before you start playing the races at Del Mar. Now, there's been much debate about the impact of the Pacific tide, and I got to be honest with you, I haven't seen any correlation, but I do know one thing for sure. There's plenty of evidence that supports this hot versus cool damp phenomenon. Now, hot angle number 2, bomber closers coming in from Hollywood Park that could not hit the board move up at Del Mar, especially at the 6.5 and 7 furlong distances. So, those 5th, 6th, 7th place closers you saw at Hollywood, they hit the 3rd and 4th place slots at Del Mar quite regularly and at huge odds, so don't miss out on that opportunity. Angle number 3. If you have the ability to project likely pace scenarios, races run faster than par early on provide some of the best exotic plays here at Del Mar. You'll see this happen most often in the claiming and the optional claiming races run at the longer sprint distances. Watch for it and then bet those closer bombers with a lot of confidence. Number 4, 3-year-olds coming back from long layoffs. For whatever reason, they do very well in their debuts at Del Mar, with really nice prices to boot. So, don't discount a long layoff 3-year-old at this meet. Now, let's move over to the turf course, which continues to be dominated by stalkers and closers, comprising 75 to 80% of the route turf wins. Wire jobs are especially hard to achieve at the mile distance, as they are at many tracks. Now, just the opposite is true, of course, for the turf sprints. About 80% of those races are won by wire-to-wire stalker types. So downplay those horses that have a little bit of a tendency to start slowly. For route turf races, Del Mar track maintenance moves that rail out about 15 feet, and that typically takes place around August 5th, August 6th, somewhere in there. Now that move actually helps the stalkers a bit, so be aware of that as we get into the meet, and look for that change somewhere around that first week of the meet. For turf routes, posts 9 and 10 are really tough draws. You need a superior horse with a gift of a trip to win from out of there. This is doubly true for those turf races that are carded at the 1 1/8 and 1 3/8 distances. In fact, for those races, you have to look no further than posts 2 through 7. Even the 1 post distance is a tough play, especially for those races coming out of the turf chute. You have to gun from the gate or risk being shut off when the field makes that sharp left turn onto the turf, on the main turf course. Alright, are you ready for some hot angle plays here on the turf course? Here are just a few that pay big year in and year out. Hot angle number 1 on the turf. Discount those front runners coming off the Hollywood turf course, especially the wire types. They get way overbet here, and they create value across the rest of the contenders with that preferred stalker closer running style. Hot angle number 2, the synthetic to turf switch along with a long layoff is just a super productive angle at Del Mar. You'll catch a couple of long shots every couple of weeks here at this meet. Number 3, horses stretching out from a sprint, turf or poly track, to a route turf make an extremely poor bet. The win rate is less than 5%, and you can eliminate a lot of favorites with this angle. And number 4, foreign debut horses do pretty well here at Del Mar, though this angle has diminished somewhat now that the turf course more closely resembles that Santa Anita shorter cropped cut turf course. But you'll still find some great value here with those foreign shippers. Look to the trainer stats for additional